Logano outside the top 10. You have other drivers like right here, Ryan Albon, Alex Bowman, trying to make something happen early.
In essence, if it would go continuously green, they could finish this race with just 3 pit stops. We don't expect that to happen because we've seen a lot of cautions at this racetrack as people get aggressive. And
talked about the 11th car having trouble. Well, you see the 11 on the very low on the racetrack. He and 20, his teammate Matt Kenseth, get together on the exit of turn 4. It can happen. So they'll keep an eye on it, make sure they don't see any smoke. If they don't see any smoke, they'll be just fine. As we ride along with Chase Elliott, listen as he enters turn 1. Listen to the racetrack hit. Listen to the race car hitting the racetrack. So as far as they know, everything's good.
Just a little bit of contact early in this race. They hope that it doesn't affect anything.
A bit of difficulty with that back in July with this particular tire. Jason Ratcliffe, his crew chief, told me this morning, he said it'll be about 100, maybe 150 laps. We'll be paying very close attention trying to get that read so that we're ready when it really counts.
Meanwhile, but he's done a fantastic job picking up this racetrack much better this time around. Right now, Chase running inside the top 10 with a car that's a little bit too tight. He's also tried to move up the racetrack a little bit, Kelly.
Stupid good off the truck, and they felt like they were going to be good all day today. Right now, Kevin said the car is good, and he's passing cars. Picked up 9 spots since the start, Kelly.
After winning the Daytona 500, the 11 team of Denny Hamlin felt like they may have hit a little bit of a slump midway through the season. They were 13th in points and kind of down on themselves. Well, that has changed. They have put together 9 straight top 10 finishes, a career best for Denny Hamlin, trying to keep that streak alive today. Right now, Denny Hamlin just saying.
Since this 22 team has finished worse than 4th here at New Hampshire. Todd Gordon told me this morning, he said, our car, we made tons of changes on it this morning, hoping we went the right direction because in practice, we were just...
During the commercial break, you mentioned a different line for the 24.
Yeah, watch the 24 as he's trying to get position on the 48. Typically, you try to go around somebody on the inside at this racetrack, but look at Chase Elliott. He opens his entry way up and tries to roll on the outside of the 48. That's just something you do not see at New Hampshire very much. But we're hearing that his spotter has been watching Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick has opened up his line in the middle of the corner, so told Chase Elliott, hey, go try it, see if it'll work. See how high Chase Elliott is compared to the 48. Didn't quite work, but at least he was out there trying something rather than just following somebody around.
Who agreed with, that's the way he's got to approach it.
Yeah, you do have to attack these corners, and the reason why is the corners are so long that you can drive the entry of these corners very, very aggressively. And really, if you think about Chase Elliott, he's an aggressive driver, but not on corner entry. He tries to carry a lot of speed through the middle of the corner on corner exit. But this racetrack, attacking the entries, there's speed to be had. So just another example of how these drivers have changed. Years ago, you just went out and drove the way you wanted to. It wasn't as much information, as much technology. Today, there's a lot of technology, a lot of film, a lot of data that drivers can take advantage of to make themselves better.
I mean, one of the drivers that kind of originated that high line, as Marty mentioned, was Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick likes to enter about this area of the racetrack, and you'll see at times in the race he'll exit much higher. He hasn't used that strategy yet.
Looks as though the 22 of Joey Logano is going to come a little bit earlier than that. He is coming on lap 75. Marty?
And the car has just not been good for Joey Logano. In fact, the
strategy is we got to find a way to get some speed. Panic is starting to set in. The leader's coming. He potentially is going to put us a lap down. So this team is going to have to find some speed, and they're going to need a caution to stay in the lead lap.
And Jeff, remember here in July, they had a very similar race on this 22 team. They tried an experimental setup that day because they felt like their standard setup was just a top 5 setup, and that's it. They wanted to find a winning setup. Well, eventually, during that race, they need
to finish. They don't want to go to Dover in that same situation they had to go to last year.
Jeff, just as quickly as you mentioned.
Try to stay with the 78. Hope a caution comes out so he can be the first car lap down. So the fight is just started right now for Joe Track. See him on the top. Look at Matt Kenseth. He's below the white lines. He's way down there on the flat part of the racetrack trying to get the left sides on the flat to help make the car turn.
You mentioned flat.
Pinning him down onto the lower groove racetrack. We've talked about it. There's lower banking at the bottom of the racetrack, and they just kept pinning him down there, and he ended up losing a lot of spots because of that.
Yeah, and I mentioned the battle for the free pass. This race right here is probably the most important race on the racetrack because the leaders, they know they have 150 laps. But Joey Logano, he has to get unlapped. We saw last week Kevin Harvick lose a lap with a great race car, but never could get the timing right to be in this position. Joey Logano has to battle here and try to clear the
lap behind. A little bit of contact here between the 88. in the 1. And in the 48. Those two fighting for the second spot now. Is
a six-time champion, driven his entire career at Hendrick Motorsports. Chase Elliott takes over the 24 for Jeff Gordon. While he hasn't won a race, I don't think anybody will be
at this racetrack, especially over the past 4 races. Is working his way back up toward the front as he tries to get below the 24.
Left side's all the way on that flat. Now right here, trying to accelerate off of turn 2. It's very difficult to run your left sides down there because, again, there's less banking, and you have less banking on the right side tires, and more banking on the right side than the left. So a big transition. If you're going to pass somebody, there's really no other choice. You have to go around them on the inside. We saw earlier in the race, a couple people try to pass on the outside.
Kevin Harvick, he looks to the inside of that 24. Just as you both had pointed out with that mirror, that's exactly, I'm sure, where the 24 Chase Elliott is seeing the 4 is in that left side mirror.
Yeah, you saw the 24, how loose he got off the corner, and that allowed the 4 car to gain just a little bit. And that's how you pass it, Loudon. You gain inches at a time. You just gain a little bit. So right now, the 24s will get a pretty good run off the corner. You can see it's just a little bit better than the 4. The 4's just got to keep grinding and grinding and 1 inch at a time, ultimately get to where he's underneath the 24.
Well, and then all of these teams, we've talked about the laser and the skew and all these things all week long. Well, look at the left side tires in this 24. You see how much they move around just with air pressure and load on the wheel, how much the suspension moves around. This is what happens in racing conditions. The 24 Chase Elliott, he's not going to concede the spot. He's going to continue to battle. So as you go down to turn 3, watch how much the contact patch and the tires move around on the left side of this race car.
Kevin Harvick all the way on the left side.
Moving to the inside, and a little contact there between Casey Kane and the 1 of Jamie McMurray.
We haven't talked it up inside the top 10, has showed good speed. We'll have to see as he gets closer to the front. Well, that track position, is that all he needs to contend for a win? On with those 2 tires, but Matt Kenseth is going to put the pressure on him.
A whole lot of movement from the 78 getting into the corner. You saw how loose he was. Watch for the corner entry to see if the 78 continues to get loose.
Now, is this a strategy move by the 78 for the next time onto pit road where they might only change 2 tires?
No, I actually think it's the opposite. This puts them behind compared to the
people who do 2 tires. 2 tires would look great.
Right.
Because the first car on 4 tires would have restarted in 15th, and he's not going to get there. So as this race winds down, we're seeing 2 tires may not be the way to go, but it is a compromise between track position and better grip and panel.
Here's a better shot.
A better view. Yeah, a little bit of contact, but you can see the 48 got up.
Take a look at today's lap leaders, brought to you by Proudly Propane. Martin Truex Jr. has led 141 laps, and he will be the lap leader as far as the most laps led for today's race. No one else can catch him at 141 laps led. Carl Edwards 31, Matt Kenseth 23. It has been a Toyota-dominated race. Only 3 laps that have been led by non-Toyotas in today's race. Marty.
That is really the only hope the 22 can have now, is they need this race to go all the way to the finish. They need the leaders to hit pit road. Then a caution to come out would be okay. So I expect the leaders to be on pit road in about 30 laps. Joey Logano, he needs the next 30 laps to run green. A caution in this next 30 laps is really going to doom the chances of the 22.
And those few laps that Joey Logano waited to pit as opposed to Austin Dillon, that put Joey Logano behind Austin Dillon. So Austin Dillon is now in 24th, 2 laps back. These 2 guys have to
stay long, but the first time down pit road, the wrench fell out as they tried to make a wedge adjustment, so they had to make up for that. They're still struggling. Denny's saying that his car's just snapping loose everywhere, wanting to make sure his crew chief didn't go the wrong way.
You know, respectful of him and trying to make sure they have a good race and not a problem is Matt Kenseth. Matt Kenseth needs them to hold up Kyle Busch.